Hi, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about boundaries. And I posted something yesterday and I had a few really interesting comments about, people's reactions to the self-responsibility about our behavior in relationships with others. That these comments led me to understand once again that many people don't realize what boundaries really are. And I think that we have such difficulty with boundaries because we're still very unclear of that sense of self. Our sense of self is still very not clear, not clearly delineated, not clearly understood. So, and of course I'm talking about sovereignty, right? We can be with other people but relate to them still from that point of view of I'm a separate being, independent individual, and so is this other person. So whatever we are experiencing as we're interacting, it's not so much about them, but it's about, whatever we are experiencing is it's about our own inner world. And for example, I was mentioning that the judgy voice that judges the people on the outside of ourselves is that same judgy voice that judges us. And one of the people who responded said, sure, but what about boundaries? Like, I feel like some of the things that I judge the other person is, how it's more like about them and the boundaries that I'm just not instilling. And it's really important to clarify that even our boundaries are our boundaries, and our boundaries are not walls to keep other people out or to or in an attempt to control or manipulate other people. Our boundaries are to be able to communicate clearly to other people or even to ourselves, for us to understand clearly what we are able to tolerate and what we will not be able to tolerate or not prepared to tolerate due to our emotional state or due to our values, etc. So a lot of people think that boundaries are to keep other people out, that it's kind of walls that we build in order to prevent other people to hurt us. What I am finding is that there are a kind of outer boundaries, but there are also inner boundaries. And these inner boundaries are very movable. And actually, what we're able to tolerate about other people has a lot to do with our own psycho-emotional and nervous system state. So, for example, for anyone who has children, you may have noticed that when we are relaxed and satisfied and happy and in a good mood, we can tolerate more of their like loudness and playfulness, and even maybe we are more willing to bend some of our own rules when it's appropriate. Whereas when we are in a state of stress or undernourished in several ways or underslept, not rested enough, that same behavior that we found innocent enough when we were rested will become intolerable and will start reacting accordingly. So do you see, it's not really so much about other people, it's about what's happening in our system when they're being themselves. So in the romantic partnership, it's kind of the same thing where we can tell other people, other people are who they are and they behave in the way that they are. We can communicate to them what we are prepared to tolerate or what we're not prepared to tolerate, but not as a mother or a teacher, as an equal. So with compassion and respect. If for some reason they're not able to, maybe they don't understand what we're asking, or they're not able to hold that, it's up to us to find another way to communicate our needs or start acting accordingly, rather than start blaming them or judging them for not respecting your boundaries. Because it's, again, boundaries are for self-protection. So if somebody is not able or didn't understand our boundaries or are not aware enough to respect them, it's up to us to start changing our behavior or to start putting into action certain behavior vis-a-vis these people, rather than start judging them that they're, such idiots or whatever, or such horrible people because they're not getting our boundaries. Our boundaries are to protect our needs, and they're very, very flowy. So it's not up to these people to guard our boundaries. It's up to us to constantly be in relationship with ourselves and with our inner world and with the signals our body is constantly giving us, our system is constantly giving us, so that we can know where we stand vis-a-vis a particular issue at any moment. And it's nobody, if we're feeling discomfort, it's nobody's fault or nobody's problem. Again, they're just being who they are, and maybe they're not behaving in a way that we're prepared to accept. That's something else. But that's where, again, we have to be self-responsible and we have to be self-leading, so that we can then take measures not to punish these people, not to, again, judge or disrespect them, but rather to take measures in our own life where we no longer put ourselves in these situations. Anyway, I hope it's helpful. My masterclass on Wednesday will include all that. I just realized today that I will have to also speak about boundaries with all this. So if you want more, sign up to my free masterclass on how to set the tone in our relationship so we feel loved, respected, and appreciated. All right. See you tomorrow, everyone.